Okay, thank you for sticking around and making the sessions very interactive. Um, so we've come to the last session where we are going to talk about our own privacy concerns, because some of us, like I used to be quite shy, believe it or not, um, but some of us might prefer to talk in smaller groups. No, so we're going to divide in maybe four groups. So there are facilitators. John, facilitators, please stand up. So John, wearing the white shirt. Um, Kash- Kashim, I think, yes. And Jackson, there. And I am the last one. Andrew doesn't want to. No. So that's four. Okay, so just I suppose you can pick who you will go with. So what will happen is in the next hour, we're going to have some discussions. Very basic discussions. What your privacy concerns are, how you use the internet, and if you've ever encountered any privacy issues. So very very casual. Have a small chat, and then in the last 20 minutes or so, we're going to come back in the room and then we're going to share a bit of what we've discussed. If that sounds good to everyone, then I suppose we can. I don't know if you would prefer to have a small discussion here or outside. It's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. But I suppose just feel free to go to one of the moderators. I think we will have about 4 to 5 people in each group. So please feel free to go to one of the facilitators. That includes me, and then we will just pick a spot and have a small discussion, and then get together again in about. Let me just. I suppose we'll try to get back in about 5 o'clock. So that's 38 minutes. If you need more time, please let us know. And then have a bit of sharing, and then we can conclude the workshop. Let's hear it for group one. A round of applause, please.
Presenting for group one, we have Andola from Vanuatu and Gia from Fiji.
So the first question was, how do you understand privacy?
Information about ourselves, our behavior, habits, and personal information. There are levels of privacy both online and offline, different levels of trust. It depends on us who we want to share that information with and how we want it shared.
Okay. And do you think privacy in the real world is the same or different from privacy on the internet and online? And how is it different?
Some say it's totally different, but in some circumstances can be the same, others it's different. There are also levels of privacy online.
So do you feel secure that your privacy is safe when you go online? And what are your main concerns when it comes to online privacy?
They don't feel same online. Things like stealing passwords, tracking usage, targeted ads, reputation damage, tracking me, personal safety, online surveillance. Once they have the info, you can't get it back. Facebook plus Google, people can take who you provide them of your page. How do you know what they do with your data? I invite Chia to come and continue with the next.
Well, while you're setting up, do you take precautions to protect your privacy? And what precautions, such as VPN, not using your real names, incognito mode, and adjusting your privacy settings, do you take?
Yes. Um, some others and none, because they adjust the privacy settings and we add blockers and be aware of risk and private browsing.
Do you find it hard or easy to protect your privacy online, and why?
It depends on how knowledgeable they are. Many people do understand their risks. It can be very hard to know what's going on and with your data.
And what kind of tools would you like? What would you like your government companies to do to help protect your privacy online?
Education and digital literacy, parents to teach kids of dangers, and governments and companies to help support this. And more transparency on what information is taken and what it is used for. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so for our group, our group has come up with for what they think of understand of privacy, the understanding of privacy. First one is that privacy is personal, sensitive. Anything that you don't want others to know is confidential, it's private, and it's private to a company. If information is for a company, it's there's different definitions of privacy. Human rights, it's privacy to different people is privacy to others. For example, disabilities and women, the privacy would be different as to other gender. Second one, in terms of privacy in reality and privacy online, if they're different or the same, most of our answers that the group has come up with is that it's different, in that the knowledge of a person is different in a community and family as opposed to a Facebook or using an online website. So people know you differently in the community and with your family, and people know you differently if you're using one of those online sites. And the accessibility of privacy, if it's physical and it's as opposed to it being used virtually. So in the virtual world, you can see everyone and everywhere, and it's the environment, and the last one is the environment that makes it different. So yeah, it's different. One of our group members has also said that it can be same because it can be controlled. Privacy can be controlled by a person in terms of settings, privacy settings that you do on your browser's default, and that you can control, and you can figure out anything to divert, to ensure that your privacy is intact. So the third one, what's the third question? So the whether or not you're likely to share online. Yes, all our group members said they can share things online, but in the same time they do not feel secure while sending things online and using online, and they're very conservative of their personal information. And even before coming to this training, this workshop, they know that they can't put everything up online for privacy purposes. Third one, we have discussed that trust is easy to gain. Online, you can trust anyone, and one of our colleagues has mentioned that they created a fake ID on Facebook, and then in a short period of time, they can get a lot of people to accept them as friends, people that they do not know them. Okay, so, and it was also discussed that privacy becomes an issue when people don't know the risks surrounding it. The fourth one, we discussed about, in terms of answering that question, our group discussed the settings on browsers, Google and Facebook, the use of real names. We don't encourage that. We have to be aware of the downloading apps that ask access to photos and cameras and whatnot. You have to update your browsers and beware how much information you put back to the internet. For the fifth, so for the precautions to protect your privacy, as I've said, you have the brochures, and then I think I've answered that. Sorry, let's move on to the fifth question. Do you find it hard or easy to protect your privacy online? We discussed that it depends on your knowledge, technical knowledge. So if you're technical savvy, you know how to put in place your privacy settings and so forth. But if you lack technical knowledge or layperson, then it becomes an issue or you don't use it at all. Most of us find it hard to protect our privacy online because of the lack of technical knowledge. What kind of tool? We have discussed the tools that we would like the government and company to put online that we expected, and most of us has come up with, we have mainly discussed advocacy and awareness, and we have to find the loopholes where the people needs are, and we have to address that, educate consumers, consumer awareness, and have guidelines in place, not only guidelines to protect the users, but guidelines that will give an information to the people on how to protect themselves when they use online. So how they can protect themselves. We also touched our discussion on issues with children. In Vanuatu now, the government, the OGCIO government department has now some papers in place to require operators to have packages for children under 18, and they can use when they go online, and to learn themselves on how to install antivirus tools in user device. And we have also discussed a tool, some smartphones that have apps to switch user mode to child mode for children use. And another tool is that service providers are to have information on IP address when they are asked to provide. So this is all what we've come up with. Thank you for listening.
Hello and good afternoon. We group 3, and here are our findings. Okay, question 1, how do you understand privacy? Privacy, I think, is confidential. Your personal details that you know that no one can see, and things you know you can keep it to yourself. Question 2, do you think privacy in the real world is the same or different from privacy on the internet or online, and how? We said it's different. Why? Because sharing your information online, you don't know others can copy your information and use them. Besides, when you share your information in person, you are building trust with that one, and you believe that that person will keep it. And another thing, because we don't trust the internet process, we don't know what they are doing and about our personal stuff, sharing and posting online. Question 3, do you feel secure that your privacy is safe when you go online? And what are your main concerns when it comes to online privacy? No, we don't feel safe. Why? Because we're not sure about the internet provider, as I mentioned before. We don't know if they are providing us secure internet. And about our personal identities, our name, our age, and gender when we share them online.
Question 4. Do you feel secure that your privacy...
Do you take precautions?
Sorry, do you take precaution to protect your privacy? What precautions using your real names, using incognito mode in browser, active privacy settings on Facebook? So we've come up with, when browsing on Facebook, we can set who can see my profile.
Question 4, what precautions? By using VPN, the virtual privacy network, and we don't have to use our real name or our real info.
Okay, question 5. Do you find it hard or easy to protect your privacy online? Why? We already aware of what to post online and what to do, and keep on changing our passwords and how to be to use the social media. Question 6. What kind of tools would you like? What would you like government companies to do help you protect your privacy online?
Here we come up by setting up policies for users' protection, educating people how to use internet, and such as awareness, if they are providing secure internet, the use of social media, and so forth. That's all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Group 4 discussion. We have Gilbert. My name is Gilbert Toko from Vanuatu. We have Taito from Fiji. We have Tina from Vanuatu, and here we have also Tony from Vanuatu. We have Miss Noel from Cleveland, and we have Sharon from Vanuatu, and Aquino from Vanuatu, and Sally Vanuatu. Every time we have 1 and 2 presenters. Here we have 6 presenters at the same time. So, our first question, it says, how do you understand privacy? The right to determine when and how and to what extent personal data can be shared with others. It's the personal information we put out, what you want others, how much you want them to share with people. Okay, this is especially, particularly on private issues, confidential and so. So the next questions, next question number 2, we have here we have Sharon. We'll have to give you the answer. Do you think privacy in the real world is the same or different from privacy on the internet or online, and how?
Okay, in my opinion, I think the answer is no, it is different. Since everyone has different views or profile, and some are fake ones, and fake emails. And therefore you can share personal backgrounds with strangers, while in real life you only share your personal backgrounds with your relatives. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question says, question number 3 says, do you feel secure that your privacy is safe when you go online privacy? Let me ask Aquino to give you the answer.
Okay. To feel secure about your privacy online is something that we think you can't be sure about. That's why sometimes when going online, you can use the incognito mode. So our concern about online privacy is about we get concerned about piracy, hacking, and also about who the people that have access to our private information. But in general, in Vanuatu, most of the people, they don't really care about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, our next question, number 4, it says, do you take precaution to protect your privacy? What precaution? Let me ask Taito to give you the answer. Thank you, Michi.
Generally, no. The big thing is lack of awareness to the community and schools. Generally, people don't take precaution because they either don't understand how to take precaution or don't think it is important. Thank you.
Okay, question number 5. It says, do you find it hard or easy to protect your privacy online, and why? Mr. Tony.
Thank you, Thomas. The group have discussed, and this is the answer. We have written there are a lot of promotions, terms and conditions that are given out by the internet or company as marketing, however, it is not their responsibility to give disadvantages and so forth. That means there is imbalance, or unbalance between the marketing and sort of the disadvantages. So in here, we're looking at 2 different areas, like the urban areas and the rural areas. Urban areas is like where the technology is high and there are more technical people that are available. And maybe the question will be more easy, much easier. But when we're talking about the rural areas where there is lack of technology and so forth, that means the privacy is something that it is not like they are not more aware of. Therefore, it is the responsibility of TRR through their consumer champions, to go around and do this awareness about easy or hard to find their, to protect our privacy online, and it has to be done through the language that they understand. I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Merci, Monsieur Tony. And our final question says, what kind of tools would you like, or what would you like government companies to do to help you protect your privacy online? We come up with an answer here, which says, we think the government could work with Facebook to come up with ways to stop fake profiles, to promote trust on social media so people don't use fake profile, especially in public forums where people can become victims. Merci beaucoup.
So the story behind Group 4 is Gilbert volunteered to present, and then when it was time to present, he said, you, present. So now, well, it turned out very well, no? A lot of good insights from Group 4. Now we come to the end of the workshop. Very, very long day. Thank you very much for sticking around. Now, Andrew is back in the room. Andrew, do you want to make some parting remarks? Thank you very much, everyone. It has been, I have learned a lot as well from our panels today and from your participation. And to our facilitators, can we give a round of applause to our volunteer facilitators? They have been voluntold today. And Andrew, would you like to say something on behalf of TRR? So thank you very much on behalf of the Internet Society. Oh, Dazi, if you need to get in touch with me, if you have any questions on privacy, and I know that a lot of people here, a lot of the participants are involved in the youth, so we have a lot of programs on youth as well. And it's a shame that we only had one topic today, but when it comes to online child protection, we are also working on that, and maybe the next workshop with TRR could be on online child protection. We'll see. Okay. Thank you very much again, and thank you to our partners, the TRR and the OGCIO, for making all of this happen. And I hand it over to Andrew.
Okay, I think we should give Noel a big round of applause. Of all the sessions, which one did you enjoy most? The last one, right?
Lunch break.
So you learned a lot from the session. So that gives us also a Noel something to think about. So we're going to finish up now. Thank you for being patient. We have run an hour late because Noel came late. Oh, I'm sorry. No, just kidding. Anyway, you have been wonderful, but we're going to close now. It's only one day session, so I will give the opportunity to Jackson, who is our ICT program manager for this country, to say a few closing remarks, and maybe the regulator can also say the final remarks before we finish. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Thomas, Andrew, and to Noel. Thanks for traveling all the way from Manila to be with us this week. Thank you so much. And I would like to introduce, just for our information, Noel is from ISOC, Internet Society, and I'm sure most of us are aware. It's an international NGO that does a lot of work around internet-related issues. And in the Pacific, we have also a Pacific Island chapter. And most of us in this room, if we haven't signed up, please do that. The website is isoc.org, and you can register there to be a member. And there's a Pacific, it's free. There's a Pacific Island chapter that you can become a member of. Andrew has been a chair of the chapter in the past. But I'd also like to introduce Kasek from PNG. He's one of our board members on the board, and I'm also on the board as well. And thanks to the support from Noel and others who've been doing quite a lot of work, and we're quite fortunate to have this workshop here in Vanuatu. And on behalf of our office of the government CIO, would like to say a big thank you to you, and also to Dalcy and her team at TRR for organizing this event, and most importantly, thanks to all our participants, our students from APTC. It's good to see you guys here, and also from wider community who have been supportive of this event. And such events happen once in a blue moon, and we're so lucky to have this workshop here, especially tackling issues on online privacy. And as a government, we're working very closely with the regulator and also with our private partners such as Google. For those of us who aren't aware, we have a Google server sitting right here in Vanuatu, running services for Google. We also have a company called Akamai. They also have the services running here, and they run traffic on Facebook and other content distribution. It's a content distribution network that does a lot of work for all these big companies. And thanks largely to the government, the regulator, and also to our partners who have been very supportive to bring these services here to Vanuatu, and having capacity building programs such as this online privacy with partners such as ISOC is very valuable. And we hope that we have learned so much. I know a few of us aren't from Vanuatu, but as you go back to your own countries, you are more aware of what online privacy is, how to tackle issues around online privacy. And in terms of our policies for Vanuatu, we do have policies that encourages online participation. We encourage users to go online. We are also mindful of security aspects through TRR, our office, the police. We're doing a lot of consumer awareness programs to schools and to the wider community. And having you guys come on board, go out there and tell others to be mindful of stuff they do online is quite useful. And thank you once again. And from here, I think Noel will send a very, very big book to us. And from there, we can then look at ways as a government, as a country, that we can look to the report as a reference on how we can collectively work together to tackle issues around online privacy. Otherwise, thank you so much, Noel. I hope you have lots of Vanuatu steak, maybe go swimming, and enjoy a bit of Port Vila while you're here. And also hope to see you again maybe next year for a follow-up workshop on how we've all done after this workshop here. So I think Hemianomo, thank you once again. And don't forget ICD Days and Pacific IGF is on tomorrow. Opening is at 8:30. The acting Prime Minister has another commitment, so he's asked that we start at 8:30. So yeah, see you all here tomorrow. The room will be packed of lots and lots of people, and to participate in the panel discussions. There's an online privacy discussion at 12:30 tomorrow. So feel free to be part of that. I think Hemianomo. Thank you, Tomas, and good night, everyone.
Okay, so thank you everyone. From the co-host TRR, first of all, I have to thank you. Well, give yourself a round of applause for your participation and being here all of today. Thank you very much for that, precious time of yours, and that you have actually taken it and contributing with views, which is more important. And I note from the last statement that the last session is much more interesting than the others, which is, is something that we always want to promote. Yes, participation in the meetings is very important because that's when we learn from each other. Okay, so first of all, ask yourself, what's the take-home message? From the whole session of today, what have you learned? Outline 3 things that you've learned from today's session. And then from there, when there is a, survey or something, or your views to be contributed to whatever the policy that is going to come, or the framework to be established for the country, at least you have learned something out of today's session, and then you contribute to that to be part of the framework. Secondly, I thank all the international, participants who are around here. With your experience and contributing with our team from Vanuatu is valuable to us. That is also, sending signals and messages, and particularly new information to our, users who are around, learning and sharing from experience. That's really good. Okay, so, everyone has their own experience, being part of online activities. And by having your presentation and participation this today, whole of today, is really good. Thank you also, Noel, for being around and coordinating the session. I think it's the first session in the region on online, So there you go, it's happening here, and you are being part of this first online workshop as a region, at the regional level. So very good, and please continue to maintain your participation in such workshop, because you are the key person who's going to put out, messages that we want everybody to know based on your experience. And we thank you, government, to be around. Without your support, we will not be here. But thank you for being around to participate and also indicating our way forward, at a national level. And first of all, if we put in something at the national level, we can, replicate based on best practices around the region, and that is important for every one of us. So to end it there, once again, thank you very much, and importantly, you are invited. You're all invited to tomorrow's evening dinner, which is happening at the Roses. 6 o'clock is our time. Thank you.